going? It's the Slayer here. So today I'm showing you my build and setup for the Falx, as well as a demo of a few fights. So here I've got the Lord of Blood's Exaltation, though you could replace it with Shard of Alexander for bosses where you can use this weapon's Ashes of War, Millicent's Prosthesis, and Rotten Wing Insignia are key. I also had the Claw Talisman for jump attacks, but on bosses where you don't use that, you could substitute it with something else like Rolana's Cameo. And in terms of armor, this is one good example, like Raptor's Black Feathers, which increases jump attacks, or you could try the Rakshas armor. Now, I'm in New Game Plus 3, so I've used some heavier armor to get more poise, though you don't necessarily need that. And yep, so front up, this is the first demo I'm showing you, the Black Knife Assassin fight. Now, this guy is pretty fast, but this was one case where due to his slow load up in this fight, I was able to use the Ashes of War, and wow, I shredded him without taking damage, which is pretty rare against this guy. He's normally pretty fast, and this was New Game Plus 3. So that was a rare example where you could use the Ashes. And now here we're facing the Bell-Bearing Hunter. So I don't use the Ashes here, but the weapon is still pretty rapid. Wow, look at the damage and that bleed. So this is a weapon that can be power stance to where even if you just have one, it's dual-handed is two. Dual-handed stance gives you two of these automatically, and it doesn't require arcane, although it does bleed, and it mainly scales on dex and a bit of strength to do a bit of physical damage, but it's mainly a dex weapon that automatically has bleed. And here we are fighting Lansseax. Now I normally hate this fight because I get a lot of input lag, and as a keyboard user I hate those slopes and gravity based attacks, but we ended up finishing her reasonably quickly, even though I probably let some of the buffs expire, and if I hadn't, that would be even quicker. So, wow, this is really amazing that speed at which this is shredding the bosses. I could continue using this at higher New Game Plus tiers, or even if I was back in New Game or New Game Plus 1 with a Rune level 150 build, this would really shred stuff as long as you've got at least 80 decks. And I still have only 80 decks in New Game Plus 3, and it's shredding stuff. So 70 to 80 decks in New Game Plus 1, and it should be pretty all right. And yep, so this is an example of a Deathbird. Now I've got quite a unique collection of bosses to show this to you, because by the time I got this weapon, I already finished the base game and a good part of the DLC, barring the final few bosses like Bale and Prime Consort Radhan. And I discovered it while fighting Midra yesterday, when I was really struggling until I found this. So I had to really pick, figure out what other bosses I could, demo this on to show it to you. And here, this is Deathbird. Wow, look at that. It pretty much shredded him, which isn't bad because this guy can be an a-hole at times. And yeah, it took him out quickly. So yeah, it's very fast. Even its R1s and R2s are rapid and pretty fast. And even though I wasn't using that Ashes of War that I'd used against the Black Knife Assassin, though that's very cool for use on NPCs and others. Like here, this is the one. It does a rush down followed by a series of rapid swings. So if you can use it against a boss, that's great. If you can't, no worries, because as we saw, even its R1, R2 combos were very deadly. And here we are. This is the fight that inspired me to, pick up this weapon. And in this fight, I didn't even have the optimal build or, the talismans I mentioned, and I hadn't even maxed the weapon yet. So it's quite a handy weapon. Scales on dex, triggers bleed without arcane, can be power stanced with one, and it doesn't require too many buffs. So I just basically use Golden Vow, and you can either use the Blood Boil Aromatic, or if you don't have that, Flame Grant Me Strength. And optionally, you can add Blessings Boon or Earth Tree Blessing, though I don't see others using that. And in terms of your mixed physic, you'd use the Thorny Crack tier and the Spike tier. And if you have access to it, you could probably use the Blood Crack tier or something. I don't have that yet. And in my case, I had actually substituted one of them with the Opaline Hard tier to for damage negation, and I still finished off these New Game Plus 3 bosses quickly. So this is really a good bleed weapon to look into, and it's something that can carry you throughout your Elden journey.